He's become the face of Hong Kong's pro-democracy movement. On Monday, student Joshua Wong was released from prison and walked straight into a media scrum, where he called for the city's leader, Carrie Lam, to quit.
Hong Kong people will not keep silence under the suppression of President Xi and the Chief Executive Carrie Lam. Carrie Lam must step down. Otherwise, I believe in the next few weeks, before the 22nd anniversary of Hong Kong transfer of sovereignty, more and more Hong Kong people, not only 1 million or 2 million people, will come and join our fight until the day we get back our basic human rights and freedom.
Wong's release comes after organisers claim as many as 2 million people took to the streets of Hong Kong on Sunday. They were protesting about a controversial bill which would allow extradition to mainland China. Under mounting pressure, Lam, who's backed by Beijing, had already promised to postpone the law, but that wasn't enough to quell the anger.
I'm here to condemn the police violence against us. It's unacceptable that the police define our demonstration last Wednesday as a riot. Lam even justifies the police violence as righteous measures. That's why I'm here to urge her to step down.
For a few hours on Monday morning, demonstrators continued to block a road leading to government buildings. Their concerns over Beijing's tightening grip on the former British colony have not gone away. Many now see this as a battle for Hong Kong's soul.
Okay, let's get the very latest now from Matthias Bollinger. He's in Hong Kong for us this morning. Good morning to you, Matthias. Protesters out again today, very angry, we saw in that report, against excessive force. What's happening right now where you are?
The area you see behind me is the petition area of the Legislative Council. That's exactly the area the police say protesters had tried to enter, which triggered the police reaction, this massive use of tear gas and rubber bullets to clear the space. Now the protesters are here. The police has retreated. So this is a clear first victory for the protesters, and we might be in for another long occupation of downtown Hong Kong.
That was our correspondent, Matthias Bollinger, talking to me earlier. DW's Hong Xuan Lee is with us in the studio now to talk more about this. Good morning to you. We just saw the protesters there. They're not moving. They're at the petition site there where the government sits. The extradition bill's been suspended. What's this all about now? Is it all about the territory's leader, Carrie Lam, having to resign?
Well, the protesters, of course, they want Carrie Lam to resign because after all these big protests, she didn't really apologize, and she even thanked the pro-Beijing camp for supporting her. And so that's why people are very angry. They're furious about that. They want Carrie Lam to step down. However, you just mentioned that she just announced that the bill will be suspended. And for most of the protesters, a suspension is not enough. They want the bill to be completely taken off the agenda. They want it to be withdrawn. And so that's why a lot of people went out yesterday, and today they're still there. So
the extradition bill is still very important. We heard activist Joshua Wong getting back to Carrie Lam saying she has to go. He's now been released from prison. What do you make of that? And what role will he be playing in these ongoing protests?
Yeah, well, he was released from prison, and that's actually just a coincidence because he served his terms. So it's not like after all these big protests, Joshua Wong got released. So, and he mentioned that in prison he watched the news, and then he felt very sad that he couldn't be with the people. And so he also announced that he will join the protest right away. Okay,
those protests have 2 million people out on the streets. How's Beijing likely to react in the days ahead, moving forward to the latest developments in Hong Kong?
Well, Beijing has already said that it will continue to support Carrie Lam, the chief executive. It says so. It's very unlikely that Carrie Lam will now announce that she will step down. However, she is really facing a lot of pressure because 2 million people went out onto the streets yesterday, and that's a lot of pressure. It is very clear that people are very discontented with her, and also some of her closest allies have already started to distance themselves from her. So obviously, she's facing a lot of pressure, but Beijing just said it will continue to support her, so probably she will still be able to stay in power for a while.
Okay, Hong Xuan Li, thanks so much for those insights.